Hey everybody, today just want to do a quick video on how you can create a secure software development lifecycle. So your company, right, you may be working in an industry that requires additional security measures kind of beyond what you've been doing traditionally. So aerospace and defense is a big one, right, in the US where they're starting to enforce CMMC, or the cybersecurity maturity model, on manufacturers, suppliers, all sorts of stuff. So, just adding all sorts of security controls. I know in Europe, they're also flowing down a lot of, I forget the actual name, what they call it, but a whole bunch of cybersecurity policies down. I know even like the FDA is starting to release new standards on cybersecurity. So it's just becoming a bigger deal in basically every industry, right? Historically, where a lot of LabVIEW developers just have been able to totally ignore security because we're inside of a company firewall. Well, it's becoming less and less of a valid thing, and more people are looking at security. So because of that, right, we want to make sure that our software development lifecycle in our organizations make sure that we're developing software that is secure, that doesn't expose vulnerabilities that different people could take advantage of for malicious reasons. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about how you can make sure that your software development lifecycle is secure. So one of the best ways to do this, I think, is basing it off of this secure software development framework. So this is published by NIST. It's NIST 800-218. But yeah, basically, so the A there is just kind of an appendage on the generative AI stuff. But NIST 800-218 is kind of your go-to. You want to take a look at this. And basically what this does is it outlines a whole bunch of different guidelines of, hey, if you're creating software and you're trying to create a good process that makes sure that there's good security checks in place, this is what's recommended, right? Now, ultimately, it's up to your company to decide what your process is going to be. But again, right, we just want to make sure that we're complying to these regulations, that we are protecting ourselves, our customers, our users, whatever they might be. This is a great way to just map a whole bunch of different security guidelines and whatnot. So I've gone ahead. I've got like a whole bunch. They're in the NIST 800-218. There's actually just a whole bunch of different kind of groups of kind of items and what those things are, right? So, this is a spreadsheet I put together that just kind of breaks them down, right? So we've got, kind of our overarching groups, right? But then there's different items in there. So as we're looking at how do we create a software development lifecycle that is secure, that does address all of these different concerns, that is compliant to all of these regulations, this is a great way to start and just look at, and it gives you, ideas on what you need to do. So, very first step, we need to define security requirements for software development. So, hey, what are our requirements? What do we want to make sure that our software is doing? And there's kind of sub-tasks to that. Behind that, we need to implement roles and responsibilities. Well, then there's some items there on how we're going to do that. Implement supporting tool chains. So, looking at, what tools do we need to support this process, and, efforts there, setting all of that up. Define and use criteria for software security checks. So, what are we looking for as we're scanning this code, and what's the process for that going to be? Implement and maintain secure environments for software development. We want to have a secure place for development to take place, right? So looking at stuff like that. Protect all forms of code from unauthorized access and tampering. Provide a mechanism for verifying software release integrity. Archive and protect each software release. Design software to meet security requirements and mitigate security risks. Review the software design to verify compliance with security requirements and risk information. Reuse existing well-secured software when feasible instead of duplicating functionality. So if you already have something that works and is secure, use that, obviously. create source code by adhering to secure coding practices, configure the compilation, interpreter, and build process to improve executable security. Configure the compilation, interpreter, and build process to improve executable security. Review and or analyze human readable code to identify vulnerabilities and verify compliance. Test executable code to identify vulnerabilities and verify compliance. Configure software to have secure settings by default. So there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Obviously, right, this is a framework, right? This is the instructions on how to have a secure software development lifecycle, but it's meant to be a great starting point, right? And your company can look at this and it kind of, you have these overarching group items and then you have individual descriptions, right? And those tasks, kind of are broken apart, right? So it's a great way if you're looking at like, hey, we're falling under these regulations. We need to develop a software development lifecycle that meets the requirements. What do we need to do? This is a fantastic place to start, right? And go through these controls, right? And it gives you a description of, hey, what you need to do to satisfy that. So look at that, figure out how your organization is going to implement that and how that might affect your software development lifecycle. Again, if you go to the NIST website, there's a whole bunch of other resources as well. So if you're looking at, I have some questions, I, want more information about this. There's a ton of great resources here that you can find. If I go right to NIST 800-218, if you look here, I can either just download the document itself, that is, NIST 800-218, and it kind of walks you through essentially what I just walked everyone through, right? They've got this table. There's just a lot more details and references and stuff and examples. So I kind of tried to simplify that so we could have a little more high-level view. Basically what it does is walk through all of that same stuff. And there's a whole bunch of other resources as well. So you can get an Excel table, potential updates, notes, stuff like that. So, so if you're looking at, adhering to a lot of these new regulations and you're not sure what to do about your software development lifecycle, or you may not even have one at all, and now you need to create one that addresses security, this is a great place to start. Take a look at this document, look at the items that it highlights, and see how you can implement those things in your organization. Hopefully that's helpful, and thank you guys for watching.
Canon Controls is your gateway to mastering LabVIEW. Dive into programming for data acquisition, industrial communications, and manufacturing automation. Explore how to enhance your projects with cybersecurity best practices. Join the journey to elevate your skills and secure your systems with every episode.